Wonderful. Thank you so much to our amazing team member, Amanda Sterling, who is our communications manager at GAS, joining us to be technical support so I can focus on talking to you lovely humans rather than trying to run the Google Meet. Welcome everyone to the 2026 GAS Corning Proposal Information Session. My name is Jennifer Hand, she, her pronouns, and I am the GAS Conference Manager. So it is my pleasure to walk you through some information this evening, and then we're going to try to leave the majority of this hour for a Q&A so that you can come with questions. I hope you have some prepared. If not, now's the chance. Start working on them now while we are going through the slides. And let's see. Before we get started, if anyone is new to Google Meet, starting on the left here, we have the mute unmute button, that little microphone, the video on or off, closed captions. If that is useful to you, you can turn those on so you can follow along. And then the raise hand feature is the little hand. No one else should be sharing their screen this evening, so you should not need that button. And then if you're looking to either contribute via chat or read something that I've put in it, that's all the way over here on the right-hand side. And so that we can get through this with a minimum of interruptions and chaos, please just everyone make sure that you are muted unless you are actively asking a question, which is always welcome. Video on or off, that's completely up to you. You are welcome to have it on or off at your preference. Okay, getting started. So first of all, some important dates. You can make the most amazing, most compelling proposal ever seen in the history of GLASS. And if you get it to us on July 14th, we may or may not take a look at it. So please be respectful of the deadline. Proposals will be due at midnight. And because GAS is technically based in Seattle, that will be Pacific Standard Time. So if you happen to be on the East Coast, you got an extra 3 hours. So we'll close at 3 a.m. We will be sending out notifications in early September, perhaps even before then, but we like to give ourselves a little bit of extra time when there is some deliberation that needs to be made. Also, acceptances come out in waves. Sometimes we will have kind of, we'll send out a definitely invitation, and then there will be kind of like a, depending on who says yes or who turns us down, we may reserve some folks to bring into the program at a later date. So please just keep in mind that if your friend got their acceptance or rejection and you haven't heard back yet, no news is good news. You're not out till you're out, right? You're in till you're out. And then June 3rd through 6th, 2026 is the actual conference dates. Very exciting. And that is super relevant because there are a lot of great hotel options in Corning, but they're not unlimited. So if you're definitely planning to come, whether or not you're a presenter, book now, book soon. You definitely want to book early. Okay, so starting off at one of the most frequent questions that we get asked as part of this process. This is my idea. What should I apply as? What kind of presentation is this? Great question. So glad you asked. So demonstrations, pretty straightforward. You are demonstrating a process pretty much start to finish. That can be in the hot shop. That can be in the cold shop. That can be in the flame working studio, in neon, print, even mixed media. So a demonstration that you can kind of go start to finish, and really show people the entire spectrum of what that process is. That is a demo. Now, a LECMO is a combination of a demonstration and a LECMO, kind of cooking show style, where you may be demonstrating parts of the process, but you may have pieces or parts kind of like pre-assembled to be able to show artificial time-lapse progress. So you're putting one raw turkey in the oven and pulling out the nice crispy one a la Julia Child, right? So this is great for kiln and mold making processes, some gluing processes, for example. If you're working with my arch enemy, Hextall, and you want to show what that looks like going from, goop to actually set, that would be something that you're doing in a LECMO. LECMOs can live in print land, they can live in mixed media land. But I'll tell you one thing that a LECMO is not, is in the hot shop. If you submit as a LECMO and you're trying to have hot shop access, and I will repeat this a few times, you are out of luck. So if you're doing something in the hot shop, it is a demo. Lectures, that's pretty standard. You get 60 minutes for a lecture, and you have a microphone, you have access to a screen. If you want to show slides, you don't have to show slides, that's up to you. But that is pretty standard. Lecture is usually one person with a microphone. You can have a dual lecture if you like. LECMO is usually you're on your own, but you can also have a co-presenter there. And just to reiterate on the timeframes, both LECMO, demonstration, and panels, you have 90 minutes. Panels we can stretch to 120. Lectures are a little bit shorter. We're going to stick to around 60 minutes on that. Okay, a panel, kind of like a lecture, but with more folks. You're representing different sides of a conversation. You'll have a moderator and up to 3 panelists. Again, we'll have slides there if you are capacity for slides there if you want them. And then other, a performance, a workshop, a roundtable discussion. For this year, you're going to want to go ahead and select the space. That's the type of program that's closest to your other, and select that way. So if it's a hot shop performance, for example, you would enter that as a hot demonstration and then just kind of tell us what you're doing in the description. Okay, compensation. This is important. This is another question that we get asked very frequently. As everyone knows, nonprofits are going through record bad days these days as far as support goes. So resources are limited, but this is what we can offer. So for a demonstration, you get a $500 honorarium per demonstration that is paid after the conference. You get a free conference pass for the primary presenter. If you're doing a hot glass demo, something in the hot shop, you get 1 free conference pass for a hot glass assistant. However, if it's a collaborative hot glass demo where you're doing 2 primary presenters or co-presenters, then that's where that secondary demo pass would go. We do offer discounted passes for presenter guests. That is something where we'll offer you a discount code. So if you have more people that you need on your team, we can look at that and be able to give you discounted passes for those additional folks. You'll see this repeated a few times. This is true for all of our programs. Travel and accommodations are not covered by GAS. So we cannot pay for your plane ticket. We cannot pay for your hotel room. We wish we could. We're working on ways of providing that support, but it does not exist at this time. This type of presenter is encouraged, but not required to submit an article for the GAS journal. So for lecture and LECMO, in addition to your live 90 or 60-minute program, you also must submit a write-up, because this is something that lives in the journal and kind of documents the knowledge and resource that you're bringing to the conference. Once again, it is a $500 honorarium. We do pay that after the journal article is received. So we need you to do your program, get us our journal article, and then we send you your honorarium. Anyone in here who's worked in any arts admin can probably understand why we do it that way. We want to make sure that we actually get those journal articles from you folks. So it's not for lack of experience there. Okay, so you do get a free conference pass for the presenter. Again, we offer additional discounted passes for presenter guests. This is really, especially when it comes to lecture LECMO and you're not looking for like assistance in a hot shop, we do want to limit it to like really close family friends, really close family or friends, people who you really need to have there for your support system. We do not allow you to just like share out the code with your entire alma mater. That's not what we're doing here. But we do want you to feel like you have the support system in place that you need. So that's why we offer those additional discounted passes. And again, travel and accommodations not covered by GAS for that. Panel, also, we do require a write-up that can be a single piece of writing from the moderator or kind of like little contributions from the panelists. That is a $950 honorarium per program. And you get up to 4 free conference passes for a panel, 1 for the moderator and each of the 3 panelists. Access to the discounted conference passes and travel and accommodations are not covered by GAS. For performance or other, if you're looking to propose a roundtable discussion or a workshop or even a piece of midday programming, the honorarium is determined by program. If it is a performance or a, excuse me, a structured discussion, you'll get that honorarium of $500. Midday programming is something where we see really great value in a program that somebody is represented, but it's more of like a kind of ad hoc community building thing. An example I think I've heard tossed around this year is somebody wants to do a Twisty Cup competition. That's great. That's going to be super fun. That doesn't get an honorarium. If you want to come and organize that, we love it. It gives us a little bit more space to be creative with what we accept, but we have to keep the honoraria for, we do have a limited budget for that. So we have to keep those to official conference programs during the official programming spaces. Still, you'll be able to look for additional discounted passes. And this is also a case where you would be encouraged but not required to submit an article for the GAS journal. Here we go. Amanda has put together an amazing resource for people who are proposing presentations, and that is the proposal guide, 2026 proposal guide that's available on our website. Go to glassart.org, navigate to the Corning conference, and it's right there. You can download it. I'm literally just pulling this information from there. So this is just the information on what equipment is available at Corning. Basically everything, all of the equipment. They have it all, so much. Oh, hence we have a question.
There we go. Yes, I do have a question. I don't see Cold Shop listed here.
Next slide.
Oh, okay.
Oh, don't you worry, hence. Yes,
Okay.
we have Cold Shop listed as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much equipment that we absolutely had to break it up into 2 pages. No, you're fine. Yes, Tabitha.
Sorry, I have to unmute. I use Vitrograph kilns. I'm wondering whether they have a Vitrograph kiln available for a demo.
Great question. Do we? I have not seen that. I have not seen that. Go ahead and Tabitha, email me offline, and we can look at that together. I know that there are schools nearby. I feel like Alfred has those capabilities, and so it might be a thing where, let's get to the part of the application where we can talk about how you would indicate that. But
right,
we can figure that out. Cool. Yeah, great question. So this lists like the most kind of common things that people would be looking for in being able to use the presentation, to do their presentation, but there are very possibly other pieces of equipment or modifications that can be made. So definitely always feel free to email, and we are available to answer questions on the possibility of things. Very well equipped. We're going to have more room for more room in the schedule and room in general for people and bodies in the audience in a hot shop setting than we've had in many, many years. So that's exciting. There's also great equipment for the flame and neon shops. We're going to have tons of equipment for people to be able to play around with those. The cold and engraving shops, I don't know, hence you tell me, does that look like, Scott, what you need?
Go to can you go to the next page? I'm only seeing, oh, there it is, duh. Yep, that's good.
Yeah, pretty decent array of equipment there.
Mm-hmm.
Really great supplies and resources and dust extraction for the mold and wax rooms as well. That's very exciting. And then there is a water jet printer. Very exciting. 3D printers, adjustable height tables, milling machines. So yeah, lots of really great techie equipment as well. Yep.
Sorry. There's only 2 large grit grinders there. There's an 800 and a 220. There is no 400.
Good to know. Good to know. We'll check into that and see if we need to take that off of the
Okay.
document. They did recently make some upgrades, but Amanda, we'll chat about that offline. And we have a Meredith question. Yes, hello.
Hello. I am perusing the submittable. Because I was looking at the proposal and clicked on the submittable. It says July 14th at 11:59 for proposals due.
Interesting. I'll take a look at that.
Sorry, I know that's not what we're talking about now, but I saw it and I felt like if I didn't say it now, I would forget it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll take a look and make sure. Well, are you mad to have an extra day? No.
No, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm happy to have an extra day.
Yeah. No, I'll take a look at that and make sure that the deadline is correct. Sometimes it's like submittable just does strange things when you copy over an event. But thanks for that.
Does.
Thanks for that. We'll take a look. Okay, gonna keep moving here. So this is kind of just like a general map to orient yourselves. This is not a conference information session, it's a presentation information session. But just so that you know, Corning is a very walkable town. If you're staying at one of these places like the Radisson, the Hilton, so the Radisson's gonna be the official conference hotel. And it is not a terrible walk and a very reasonable shuttle over the bridge to the museum. Personally, I know that it's not going to be on our list of hotels yet, or it isn't yet, but I stayed at the Quality Inn when I was a Rakow researcher, and it was great, super close and clean and very affordable. So there are definitely some options. There will be hotels kind of like further afield that will be on our list of recommended places to stay. But these are the ones. And then there are some really great maps available on the Corning website, so you can kind of get oriented to, what the new studio is looking like and where the campus lays. So pretty much the entire conference program is going to be happening on the museum campus. There will be some, events like a gallery hop and so forth that will happen kind of, Amanda, can I call it a downtown? Does that make sense? Am I just being...
Yeah, you could call it downtown. It's formerly known as the Gaffer District, which is like our main street in Corning.
Huzzah. Thank you, Amanda. So if you don't know, Amanda actually lives in Corning since we poached her from CMOG. But yes, so she is also a local resource there as well. All right. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of it so we can get to Q&A ASAP. So how to submit. Proposals must be submitted via Submittable at glassart.submittable.com by the deadline. Please do not just email me your proposal. You don't want to do that. I keep really good track of my inbox, but if you send it to me, I'm going to tell you to go and put it in Submittable. That being said, if you have some sort of an issue that keeps you from being able to use Submittable, if your computer is ancient, if you just need a little bit of extra assistance to get your Submittable turned in, just let us know. We can submit it for you through Submittable. That's not a problem. You just need to give us enough time and reach out before the deadline so that we can help you with that. We are here to support and assist, but Submittable is the method by which it needs to get into us eventually. Each proposal must be complete. Please follow instructions. Make sure you're putting the title in the title and not the description in the title, for example. That just helps our jurors who have to look through the hundreds and hundreds of these applications. If you annoy them by not following instructions, they might rank you lower. We don't want that. Please include photos and detailed explanations to help our selection committee understand what it is that you're trying to do. So yes, you can wax eloquent about the justification and philosophy behind what it is that you're trying to bring to the conference program, but also give us the nuts and bolts of what you're actually going to be doing, demonstrating, or talking about, so that we understand what it is that, how your puzzle piece of a proposal fits into the larger picture of the conference program. If you, there is space to submit photos. So if you are doing a demo, maybe submit a photo of the kind of work that you're going to be demonstrating. If you are giving us a lecture, you can provide images that are relevant to the topic at hand. whatever you think makes sense there. But and then we also like to gather at this point a headshot or a photo of you working in your studio space. All applications and presentations should be given in English unless you otherwise make arrangements with us. If you have more than one presenter, if you have a co-presenter, one of you does have to be the primary contact person. That's just so that we can kind of keep momentum going when we have, contracts and questions and need information from you. So one person has to be identified as the primary contact person, but I'm always happy to keep and always do keep both presenters, every presenter looped in on all the email communications. If you didn't know, you do not need to be a GAS member to present at the conference or to submit a presentation proposal. We love it if you join us. Membership has its benefits for sure, but that is not a requirement. And again, I want to reiterate, we are here to support you. We will answer questions. I will happily look over your presentation proposal and tell you if I think there's ways that you can make it stronger, but do not wait until the last minute to ask me to do that, especially, and last minute, give me a few days to get back to you. I am a part-time employee, so if you ask me, a day or 2 days beforehand, I might not be online and might not get a chance to see it. So give me some time, and I will give you the best feedback I can, because I am only one of many, many jurors. Okay, so a quick orientation to what our submittable site looks like. Definitely want to make sure that you hit up the conference proposal application and not the applying to host the conference. Unless you're really gung-ho about that. That's a separate information session though, folks. So this is going to be this is different this year. If you've applied before, we're gonna blame the LECMO folks for keeping on trying to sneak into the hot shops, and then we're breaking it down into the exact type of presentation you are proposing. If you have something that falls a little bit outside of this, again, that's okay. Pick the closest match and then just tell us what it is you're trying to do in the description, in your presentation description. So once again, hot shop equipment and access is only provided for people who select demo hot glass or performance hot shop. If you need a torch, if you need a fluffy torch, if you need a map gas, something like that where you're doing something print worthy, or your mold process requires a little bit of a burnout, you don't need a hot shop, you just need some fire. We can maybe work with that, but definitely let us know in the presentation description. And that is also important to put down here in this section where we ask about, does your presentation require specialized equipment? Now, anything that's on that list that I just showed you, that is on our proposal guidelines document, you don't need to worry about that. If we already told you that we have it, you don't need to put that here, okay? If it's something that's outside of that list, like for example, the Vitrograph that Tabitha was asking about, definitely put that on here. And then we'll have an opportunity for you to tell us if you're able to source one and bring it with you, if you'd like us to try to work on sourcing one for you, or if not having the Vitrograph immediately available means that you're just going to withdraw your proposal and try again a different year when we do have that equipment. Okay. Again, title. Personally, I like puns. Not everyone feels that way. Pun at your own risk, but definitely make it something that grabs people's attention. Presentation description. The limit is 250 words on that, so keep that in mind. And again, give us your lofty justification, but also tell us in like real understandable language what you're going to do, so that we're not left wondering what this really lovely ephemeral sounding presentation actually looks like. Okay, and then once again, if you see it on that equipment list, that does not count as specialized equipment, so you don't have to. You can put no there. Okay, and then finally, we are looking for a program. We are looking to curate a program that represents the full diversity of the glass community. That means diverse methods of working with glass, geographical diversity, from people from all over the world work with glass in fascinating ways, diverse ranges in career levels from emerging to established artists, diverse representations of race, class, sexuality, and gender expression and ability. We want all of the different voices, but most importantly, we want to hear your voice shine through in your proposal. We want to hear what it is that makes this special because it's coming from you. So we don't just want cookie cutter. We want to hear your uniqueness because, funny enough, it is often the most personal of proposals that are the most universally relatable and understandable. So dig deep and make it real. Okay, and Google Slides is telling me that that is the end of our presentation. So I'm going to dip on back to the very beginning, and we got a full 30 minutes for Q&A. Let's go. Yes, okay, I saw Kim Edwards first.
Yes, hi. Sorry for weird camera phone issues. So what I was curious about is, as we're putting our proposal together, if we have a specific style that we follow, but the thing that we're proposing to make, we don't have a photo of that exact thing. So we have photos in the vein of that, but it's not going to be exactly the same. Is that a problem? Do we really need to try to prioritize getting a photo that's closer to the least related to that?
You're talking about a LECMO or a demo, I'm assuming?
Sorry, yes, a demo.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to try to challenge yourself and push yourself in your practice in the space of these demos. So I think that really use the presentation description. The presentation description is your friend. I think it's not a bad idea to show that you're maybe preparing and experimenting pre-conference or even pre-proposal to kind of get to the space where you know your kind of evolution is going to be a successful one.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't have to, and being at Corning, being at the conference also opens up a lot of possibilities that don't exist outside of that space.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it does not have to match perfectly. We're not looking for you to make a perfect replica of what's in your presentation during your proposal. But yeah, just be transparent and use that presentation description space to kind of make that information clear to folks.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. And let's see, Tabitha, you put your hand down. So it looks like Zainab, hi.
Hi, I have a question to piggyback off of that, and that is if I am planning a piece to demo, and I don't have it yet, but I do plan to practice it. Is a sketch okay to submit in the proposal?
Absolutely, yes, you can totally submit sketches.
Okay, cool.
Standard rules of any application apply. Make sure that it is, high resolution, well lit, so we can really see, well lit, high contrast, just so we can really see the detail of that. The more detail and the more effort that we can see that went into it, the better. But then, you have, it's at least 3 photos, I think, that you can submit. So just if you have examples of work in general, so we don't want someone for example who's evidently taken 1 semester of glass saying that they're going to make the world's biggest dragon goblet, because we're gonna be wow, that's not realistic, that's not going to happen. So we don't necessarily need to see someone, failure is interesting, failure is useful, but we don't necessarily need to see someone fail in front of 300 people in Corning Hot Shop. So show that you have kind of the hot shop chops if you're talking about a hot demo, to kind of back up what it is that you're proposing, but then a sketch as well. It's totally fine to fill those gaps in what's going on. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, who's next? All right, I saw Shannon.
Hi. So the gas conference in Texas recently, I did a panel on the therapeutic medium for glass as a therapeutic medium for PTSD and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to ask about do you guys for these conferences normally continue the conversations of past panels or things like that? Because I'd love to continue the conversation and talk about it more with new panelists.
That is such an interesting conversation, and it actually opens up kind of another FAQ of eligibility. because as I remember, Shannon, you were the moderator, right?
Yes.
Okay, so technically, you would not be eligible to submit a proposal this year because you have to wait 3 years between being a primary presenter. You could, however, be a panelist. Panelist does not count. However, we were talking about those midday programming blocks. If you wanted to propose a sort of roundtable discussion or something where you're kind of continuing the conversation, that could be something really interesting. I would just make a really transparent note in your presentation description saying that you're looking for a midday programming slot. You just want to indicate your interest in advance. So that would be something where you would be getting the platform to put that on, but not necessarily the honorarium or benefits of a primary presenter. You know, we just got to spread out the love as far as the honoraria and the free passes go. So we do have like a 3-year kind of waiting period between being a primary.
Oh, 3 years. Okay.
Well, yeah. So so like people who presented in Detroit are eligible again this year. So it's like you have to take 2 years off. So if that,
Okay.
that's.
So you said something about the roundtable discussion.
Roundtable discussion, or if you find someone else who wants to be the moderator to continue the conversation, they could invite you to be the panelist. You just can't be the moderator or the primary presenter again.
Okay.
20, don't make me do math right now. It's too late in the day. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm going to get it wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
So I could be a panelist, but not the moderator.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
someone else.
so-
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yes, Tanya, great question. I'm just going to jump in and answer that. We will have this, it is being recorded and it will be available, I think, on our YouTube. Amanda, how are we distributing this?
Yes, I will upload this to YouTube tomorrow and then share it out on our social media.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, Zainab, did you have another question? You're next in my question queue.
Are you asking me?
Yes, you have your hand raised.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I
No, you're
didn't notice that. I'm like driving home. I'm so sorry. That's
No,
why
you're
my
totally
camera-
fine. No worries. Okay, then Tabitha, you are next on my hand raised list.
Mine is a different question, not so much about the proposal, but we were looking at booking hotels already, but everything was like blocked out by gas. Is that still the case? Because you were saying at the beginning, book now for your hotels to make sure you can get something.
Right. So we're working with our site committee to kind of do holds on a lot of rooms. And very, very soon we will have that information available on our website. So if it's not on our website yet, then the rooms are still available. So no need to panic until you've seen that go up. And we'll have the direct links so that you can get those rooms that are being held for us.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, Meredith, you are next.
Awesome. Okay, so I think you kind of answered my question, or the question I had about, like, I know Jenny Crisciullo contributed to gas in Texas, and if I were to do a panel, she could be a panelist, just
Yes.
not. Okay. Do we have to know all of our panelists by the time we submit?
Ah, fantastic question. So you can submit a list of possible panelists.
Okay.
It is nice to have reached out to them and just been like, hey, if I get this, would you be interested? You know, just so that you have some sort of like an indication. But we understand that you really can't get a commitment from people, you know, this far in advance on a maybe. So it is okay to not have full confirmation. We prefer that you have just like kind of confirmed at least interest, that they're interested and kind of like maybe willing. The only thing that we really don't like is if you come to us and you're like, I want to have this conversation and Gas needs to tell me who else I should invite. We're like, we don't, that's not our job. So, you know, if you're asking us to find panelists for you, I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen. But if you at least give us a list of like, these are the people I've reached out to and are potentially interested, here's another list of possible panelists that I will be inviting to be part of this conversation. We can see that you've done your research and your homework, so they don't have to be confirmed.
Okay, awesome. And then if I am unsure if I should host a panel or a roundtable, is that a discussion that I can email you about a little bit later? Well, not a little bit later, maybe in the next couple of days. I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm in residence somewhere, so my time is like, and I'm still in residence up to the deadline. So I do want to make this a priority. But I'm also doing other things. So I'm just trying to, like, where would you draw the line between a panel and a roundtable?
The panel gets an honorarium and free passes, and the roundtable does not. That is the difference. So I would say the process for doing a panel is you have to get voted through by the jury panel, which is the full board and members of the site committee. The process for doing a midday program is a little bit more flexible. Because of the fact that we're not having to apportion those very significant resources toward it. So we leave that a lot more open. Now, that being said, if you're doing a panel, that panel can include a roundtable discussion. You can like start the panel with the formal talk between yourself and your panelists. And then this was very successful in Berlin with the glass virus, where they took that kind of energy and then they transitioned it to be a roundtable discussion after the 90-minute panel space. It doesn't even have to go the full 90 minutes in the panel space. You can kind of like open up a discussion, have like guided roundtable discussions as well. So I would say go ahead and put in the application for a panel, and then submitting as a roundtable could be your backup if what I'm sure is a wonderful idea is unfortunately not curated in for space, or just we have too many similar ideas is usually what happens with panels not getting through. Yeah.
Awesome. And then one more question, I think. Do you find that people who get the panel with the $950 honorarium, do they share that?
Yes.
Is the point of that to share? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's generally the point, because, everyone's traveling, everyone's spending money on the hotel. So generally speaking, but it's completely up to the panelists. Y'all get to decide what the distribution of that $950 is. I just collect the information and then I send the money based on what the panel decides. So if the moderator is doing a significantly larger chunk of the work, preparing all the information, doing the journal write-up after the conference, then in some cases, the moderator has taken a larger share of the honorarium. But again, that's up to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. You're so welcome, and enjoy that residency. All right, Hence, you are next on my list.
Hi, thanks. I'm looking to put in a proposal with a cohort. And what if that other person wants to put in a proposal on their own for something else? Is that going to be a hindrance for that other person?
No, not necessarily a hindrance. I think it's actually kind of a nice idea to kind of hedge your bets a little bit. There could be, if you put out, I'm just going to say a Batuto thing. If you propose a Batuto demonstration and we have 8 other people propose Batuto demonstrations, it's going to be a lot harder for yours to get through. And if this other person is doing something so I get it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So one person can submit multiple presentations. You don't have to pick one idea. Now, if you send us 5 or 6 and you're like just spamming the selection committee, that is probably not the best strategy. But if you have 2 distinct and really good ideas, send us both. And then that gives the selection committee the opportunity to be like, oh, this person, we like this. And maybe we like aspects of both of these. And we can kind of, just send us all your ideas. And we don't hold against people to be in multiple proposals at all. Great. Okay. I think Goja, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yep, that's correct. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. What's your question?
I have a question about the LECMO format, the way you were describing it as almost like a cooking show where, some things are done in advance. Mm-hmm. Is there any kind of support for that from the studios at Corning? Like, let's say I was proposing a kiln forming LECMO, mm-hmm. and it was based on like a kiln firing that was something like a 12-hour kiln cycle, would I be able to use a kiln at Corning in advance of the conference and like come a few days prior or a week prior and have that set up there on site? Or do I have to take care of that elsewhere and actually bring the finished object with me that was produced elsewhere?
That is such a great question. It's going to be so dependent on exactly what it is that you're trying to do. I don't think there's any shortage of kilns at Corning, last I checked. So if, for example, you're talking about a 12-hour cycle, right? So that means even if you got there on the Tuesday or Wednesday of conference week and I scheduled you for Saturday, like your piece is done and happy by the time it comes out. Whether we would be able to schedule you studio time like the week before the conference, that's a little bit trickier. That's definitely going to be a super case-by-case basis of exactly what it is you're trying to do. It's not out of the question that they could provide that support, but they're also going to be in pre-conference mode. And let me tell you, that is like headless chicken on fire with, lots of sound effects. So,
Yeah.
And I guess a part of that question is also whether it would be an additional cost, because I presume that like typically if someone approached Corning and wanted to use a kiln, that would come with a rental cost. But if this rental is associated with a LECMO, like would you potentially waive the cost of using that kiln?
Yeah, again, great question. I think that that's going to be so dependent on the specific project, but that is definitely something that we could advocate on your behalf for. And I'm sure that the site committee is going to be very excited to be very supportive of all of the presenters and artists to make sure that everyone has the best presentation possible. So it's not out of the question. I can't assign kilns on behalf of Corning.
Okay.
Like they can't give you a yes, but I'm giving you a potentially.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say,
Okay.
for example, for the last couple of years in Berlin and in Arlington, we absolutely had presenters showing up in advance. In a lot of cases, it was more like, oh my gosh, we had one presenter in Texas who was like in the hot shop for 3 days before their demo, making parts and making parts and making parts. So we've definitely found ways to support presenters who have parts and pieces that they need to make pre-conference. I haven't seen that happen in Kiln World before, but there's no reason whatsoever that we wouldn't offer you Kiln folks that same support. So probably is my answer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, and Joshua, you are next on my list.
Great, thank you. So, gosh, this is kind of a long thought. I'll try to sum it up. I was really inspired by the demo I saw at the GAS conference in Tacoma, the closing party where it was the BIPOC group invited all people to come and do a demo together. And there was lots of hands in the studio and everyone who was BIPOC was invited to come and make this incredible piece. And it was really moving. And so I'm kind of trying to be inspired by that demo and do something for the LGBTQ plus community. And I wanted to submit a proposal where anyone who identified as LGBTQ could come and contribute to this piece and make something. And I'm wondering if that would be allowed, considering how would Corning feel about having members of GAS come onto the hot shop floor and actually be taking a gather. Is that even something that I could submit or to propose, or would I just be wasting my time?
Definitely not wasting your time. We would have to put some procedures in place. We've done something very similar to this where we could send out kind of host a Google form on the GAS website and channels and just say like, hey, if you're interested in being a part of this, give us your name and contact information, give us your like this is the experience that I have as a glass person, so that we know that they're not going to be a danger to themselves or others.
Uh-huh.
And then we'd be able to kind of follow up, maybe do a meeting like this to just get to know people who want to be a part of that. And yeah, just be able to just safety is paramount, right? Of
Right.
course. And then of course there's going to be a waiver involved. I guarantee it.
Great.
But yeah, I see that being a really, really lovely thing. And a lovely proposal for people to review. I see that scoring very well. So I think it's absolutely not a waste of time. And I think what you might want to do as well in your presentation description is like talk about who would be kind of pre-appointed to help you on the floor, just to manage that personnel chaos, because it does sound like there could be, you know, a lot of people who maybe aren't the most experienced in glass kind of being able to participate, which is great.
Yep.
But you need somebody like who else besides maybe just the Corning staff would be the folks kind of helping to manage and keep glass from skin.
Now, okay, great. You know, now that I think more about it, in the Tacoma presentation, it was like the closing demo. It wasn't just like a random demo that was lumped in with all the other ones. It was like it was kind of the finale. And so I don't think I'm submitting like a finale scenario. Theirs was a lot more organized. They had dancers and music. And so like, ideally I'd love to have some like drag queens there. I'd love to have like, you know, music, but it could be kind of a smaller version of that, a little more organized, but with waivers done under the supervision of Corning. Now, that's wonderful to hear that that proposal would even be heard. So I'll go ahead and I'll move forward with that. You know, I'm trying to find others who maybe have the same idea, because I'm wondering if, you know, there's other people that are submitting something similar to that, if we could like join forces. So we would just have one demo rather than multiple competing ones. And how would I even know what others are proposing if there's another similar proposal? You know, I would love to know, to coordinate with them and maybe just let them take the lead, or we join together. Because it's not so much about me, it's just about like, I'd love to have that event occur.
Wonderful. Josh, what I would tell you is just go ahead and submit the proposal. You've spoken about it very eloquently and passionately here, and I think that's going to translate really well into proposal land. And then if it comes to be that when we are in, bye, thank you, Lisa. Nice to see you. Kind of almost see you. So if it comes to be that we're sitting around the selection table and there are like 3 people who also had your idea, we will connect you. And we will, you know, be like, hey, this seems like something where y'all need to connect and collaborate. So we've definitely done stuff like that before. I would also really encourage you to reach out to Nick Clayton, who did a very who did a really great demo in Arlington with his mom, Lynn Clayton, and it was about glass and how it can support LGBTQ youth through like programs of like, you know, self-actualization, and it was really lovely, and the piece that they made was really cute and very pink.
Self-actualization, that's so cool. My grandfather was Abraham Maslow, who coined the phrase self-actualization, so that's funny.
Didn't realize I was hitting on that note, but yeah, cool. So if you email me, I'll be happy to share Nick's contact with you. And you might want to draw from his experience on what that was like in Arlington, because I think it was a really successful demo, and he might have some tips for you.
Amazing, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Let's see. I have one hand up, and it's Meredith. So did you put your hand back up, or did you just leave it up? Hands up in the air.
It was an accident. I didn't take it down.
No worries, no worries. It happens. And Zainab, how about this time?
Yeah, this time actually. Hi. So I have a question this time. And that is, I guess, along the lines of Gosha's question. If there's a specific equipment, I heard from the old studio tech at Corning that there are hot plates at Corning. I don't think I saw that on the list, but if that's something that I'm willing to try that I'm like looking to use during my demo, is it possible to just get a chance to like run a trial just to like see how the equipment works beforehand?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we
Okay.
do. We always schedule in when it's requested. Not everybody wants it, but putting presenter prep time during conference week into the schedule grid is we always do that. Yeah, there's always opportunities to familiarize yourself with the particulars of the space, so that you're not taking your first gather in a new studio in front of 800 people, because yikes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right? Yeah. Ooh, well. Okay. Yep. And we can definitely, if you just email me to remind me, we can check in on the hot plates.
Got it. I will.
On something like to pick up gold leaf, or like.
For my patterns, I'm
Right,
probably doing a carpet pattern, but just to pick up imagery.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we have 8 minutes left. Amanda says they definitely have those at the studio. So yeah, no worries on that.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Amanda. Oh, and Amanda, you should connect Josh with the is it the Corning Pride group too?
Yeah, actually, Josh, what I was going to say too, in terms of like Corning support, when I was there, I helped found the employee resource group. So there will definitely be folks from the Corning side looking at that proposal who would probably be interested and connected to that.
Awesome. Just saw that Josh jumped off the meeting, so he didn't hear that. But if he emails me to get Nick's info, then I'll go ahead and connect you two as well. I think I'm saying that, I forgot. Oh well. All right, folks. Any other questions for now? Well, cool. Really looking forward to this conference. Thank you, JC. And good luck to everyone. And remember, if you have questions, please use my email, jennifer@glossart.org. Just do not wait until the last minute, because I want to be able to answer. Thanks, Kim. And thank you, Amanda, for the Google support. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
I still have your t-shirt.
Can I just,
Excellent.
Jennifer, quickly ask you something? Sorry, Jennifer.
Mhm.
Can I just
Okay.
ask you something quickly? I emailed last week while everyone was on holiday about a booth at Corning. Would it be you who's dealing with that, or is that someone else? The
That
like of,
is me. Hold on. I thought I got to Tabitha at the Glass Emporium.
yeah.